is. Greg Gumbel is standing by on the road to the Final Four. Take it away, Greg.
65-61, Michigan State into the Sweet 16. Let's take you now third round action in the Midwest region. Greensboro, North Carolina, 8th seed Creighton, top seed North Carolina.
We're not even a minute into this game, and here's the outside shot hit by John Hinson, marking his return with a hit from the floor at 2. He had been questionable up until about 2 minutes ago. That left wrist injury suffered 9 days ago in the ACC tournament quarterfinal game against Maryland. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, Tracy Wolfson here as Young misses on the drive. Zeller sweeps it away for North Carolina, the 1 seed against the 8. And Marshall makes a little fake to the outside. It takes it all the way to the hole.
Won't be much time to stop and pause in this one. Both of these teams love to play in the open court and push it ahead in transition quickly.
Carolina has scored its first 3 times down the floor. A 3 by Bullock, a 2 by Henson, and the driving 2 by Marshall. Manigat with a 3 so far for Creighton. He hit their first shot of the game. Here he is. That man from Canada gives it up. Echenike hits the dunk off the beautiful pass. And we have the 2 highest scoring teams remaining in the NCAA tournament matched up in this one, Clark.
Yes, sir, and it's going to be entertaining. The issue will be which team can ratchet it up defensively. Deny open court opportunities. Carolina has the size advantage in the paint area. Can Creighton do a good enough job with its activity defending the ball so that the post advantage doesn't play well for Carolina?
A timeout called as the Creighton player, Manigat, was going out of bounds. So a turnover, and we'll be right back to Greensboro.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by Chevrolet, Northwestern Mutual, and by Coca-Cola Zero.
Seven to 5, North Carolina coming out of a Creighton timeout. We're in Greensboro with the winner of this one advancing to the Sweet 16 in St. Louis and the Midwest Regionals. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, Tracy Wolfson here in North Carolina. Hinson is back again, hits his first shot of the game. And again, we expect a lot of scoring in this one today.
Without question, this should be up and down, extremely entertaining. 2 teams that love to play fast, and Creighton, one of the best shooting teams, actually the best shooting team in college basketball this season.
You also have that fascinating matchup. College matchup here with 2 high school buddies who were undefeated back in Ames, Iowa. Talking about Doug McDermott and Harrison Barnes. They never lost. Playing together there, winning a couple of state championships. Great friends meeting here in the NCAA tournament. Here's Gibbs with a floater. Ooh, and after all, may have been on its way in. If it's got tapped, it seemed like it was right there on the rim. Basket interference not called. And here are the first 5 on each side. And again, the big news was Hinson off the sprained left wrist. He set out the game against Vermont on Friday, but here he is handling it and getting his first action after missing 3 games. That's another turnover by the Tar Heels.
Miscommunication there, and Creighton looking to push it and get early offense going.
McDermott against the 7-footer Zeller. Uses the left hand, and it's plucked off the board there by Hinson. Marshall's pass is picked off again. Bounce pass up ahead. McDermott. Hinson could not block it, and Creighton has tied this game at 7.
Problems for Carolina in the 5 losses this year, Jim. Teams have done a good job knocking down 3-pointers. In 4 of those 5 losses, the opponent has made 53-pointers. The other area of concern, turning the basketball over.
Rebound bouncing out to Echenike. Hinson not hitting the shot from the same spot on the floor where he hit his first attempt. So Creighton at 29-5, trying to win consecutive games for the first time in the NCAA tournament in its history, a proud history, 17 years in the tournament at all. That's Young off the mark, and he did not give them a lot of spark offensive point production in the win against Alabama. And that is long by Barnes. Tap back out Marshall. And again, Carolina sloppy with it, so it'll go back to the Blue Jays of Creighton, saying, guys, come on, let's settle down here. Already with 4 turnovers.
Well, you think about Henson, Jim. He has not played, as you said, in about 9 days. Hasn't practiced very much either. But since he can go, start him you must, because you need what he brings, and he's got to shake off that rust. We'll see if he can do that here without much practice time under his belt over the last week and a half.
Into the paint, McDermott challenged by Henson. Underneath, Echenike, the big man, showing some good hands and a lot of brute force. He has 4.
He sure did. He just carved out space and rooted Tyler Zeller out of there. They're going at it inside there.
Zeller right over him, and it rattles out, but he draws the foul. Echenike raising his arm, knowing it.
Oh, man, we've got fast and furious action going on here, Jim.
Echenike's basket puts Creighton in front. Carolina trailing for the first time in the tournament. Teams remaining in the tournament, the 2 highest scoring teams battling here in Greensboro.
And we've got Lehigh as well in our nightcap here. So 3 of the 5 remaining tournament teams as far as high-octane offenses right here in Greensboro should bode well for entertaining basketball.
The Xavier-Lehigh matchup, the second of 2 here today. Zeller to shoot 1 more off the Echenike foul. Here is the ACC Player of the Year and voted the top academic All-America in the whole nation. McAdoo is in. Henson, seeing his first action, sits down after 4 minutes. McAdoo had some performance in the game the other night against Vermont.
Career high, Jim. 17 points. He was all over the place, active on the glass, excellent defensively as well.
Yeah, he tied a career high with 4 steals on top of it.
Both teams man to man.
Rocky into the lineup for Creighton, number 34. He can shoot it.
He sure can.
That is blocked by Carolina. Put back McDermott is short. And McAdoo sweeps it away for UNC.
McDermott doesn't miss too many of those. He's shooting 60% from the floor on the season. Rushed that one a little bit, but when you got shot blockers in there, they'll force you to rush it sometimes.
Zeller got a beautiful stroke from the outside, and that's North Carolina's first field goal in over 4 minutes. Putting the Tar Heels back on top 11-9. And Henson's going to be checking back in.
Roy Williams trying to massage his minutes again. Has missed practice time, so his conditioning has suffered just a little bit in that time off.
Rocky, he can shoot it. This one dips down and out. Tapped out by 2 heels into the hands of Manigat.
Tough matchup for Tyler Zeller. He has to chase Rogge around on the perimeter, Jim. I would think pick and pops involving Rogge to create shots for Creighton.
Here's McDermott over McAdoo. Boy, he somehow squeezed a basket out of nothing. And that's going to be a foul against Creighton.
Manigat had the right idea, Jim, but just got there a little late.
His first.
There you see him. He clearly steps into the path of Barnes, but the idea was right to get back immediately in transition and match up, because Kendall Marshall wants to pitch that ball ahead to see if he can get his teammates a quick early look.
And Coach Greg McDermott having the thrill of coaching his son, an All-America, already in several different outlets. And there's going to be a foul call again against the Jays, as Henson and Gibbs exchange words, and Henson he is slapped with a technical.
And Graham Gibbs gave a wink of the eye because he feels like he may have gotten the better of that exchange. Let's take a look at what happens here. Henson bumped by Rogge, reach in, and he may have gotten that sore wrist. As he reached down, Grant Gibbs may have gotten his wrist, and that's why Henson may have reacted the way he did. Nothing dirty there.
That's exactly what it was.
Yep.
Rogge was called for the foul. Henson then won the technical.
I think Henson felt as though not Rogge, but Gibbs came in after the whistle had blown, but it was such a split-second time differential. I just think that was an overreaction by John Henson there.
And McDermott, this is the first. Tom O'Neill, one of the 3 officials today with Michael Stewart and Pat Driscoll. McDermott, first team All-America already by the United States basketball Players Association. Gets the second one to go.
Let's take a look. Rocky just reaching in. I'm sorry, Grant Gibbs is the one who reached in, and he did get that left wrist. No way to know if there was intention involved in that. I don't think there was, other than to try to make a play on the ball. I don't think he was going after that left wrist of John Henson.
Henson right back, strong with the shot. On the floor, arrow is going to Creighton.
And look at Greg McDermott. He is almost on the court with his team, applauding the effort.
You know, there's one thing that one moment tells you, though, about Henson. When Gibbs was slapping in the area of the ball, that wrist is still very sore.
No question about it, Jim. And typically when you have a sore wrist, finger, hand, guess what? If you're out between the lines, it's going to get hit quite a bit.
So the arrow went to the Jays. And it's a steal by McAdoo. James Michael McAdoo fouled, and the basket counts. Foul on Austin Chapman.
The temperature in this game has gone up. McAdoo anticipating, playing through a tough foul by Chapman. He got his team excited, and this building starting to quake and shake a little bit.
Chapel Hill just a little under an hour away from here at Greensboro Coliseum. And by the way, Creighton out of Omaha, Nebraska, averages 17,000 home fans per game. They've got a season ticket base of 13,000. So it sounds like this for them when they have their home games. Tremendous support back in Omaha.
Big time. One of the great venues in college basketball.
Gibbs driving on Barnes. Blocked by McAdoo, and Barnes is able to save it in the corner. Marshall never cut off, and he lays it in. Kendall Marshall.
I tell you what, that technical on Henson has ignited this team and this crowd, Jim.
It really has. It has sparked North Carolina for sure. Josh Jones on the missed three. Henson lays it in.
We might need a timeout, Greg McDermott here. We've got the media timeout coming in under 12, but he might need to call one before that.
He's waiting to get two of his starters in, Young and Echenike, ready to check in.
Need to get a good quality shot here if you're the Blue Jays. Timeout coming, though.
Yeah, that will be the under 12 timeout. The last 7 to the Tar Heels.
Greg Gumbel in New York with an All-State March Mayhem update. In Columbus, Michigan State knocked off St. Louis. It wasn't easy. Keith Appling, a game-high 19 to lead the Spartans to a 65-61 win. They're the 4th Big Ten team into the Sweet 16. First time that's happened since 1999. Jim and Clark.
All right, thank you, Greg. And Purdue is still out there to play Kansas. So 4 into the Sweet 16. That would be Indiana, Wisconsin, Ohio State, as you saw, Michigan State going on to next week. Since the Henson technical, a 7-0 run. Creighton shooting 31% here in the early stages. McDermott's got the open 3.
Good look. That's one of the best looks they've had in the last couple of possessions, Jim. I thought Creighton, although they want to play fast, they got going too fast during that North Carolina run. That was a better shot attempt there for McDermott.
And there's Henson hitting the shot. Turnaround. P.J. Hairston on the floor also for North Carolina, the freshman's first action, number 15. Creighton has 4 starters plus Josh Jones, who gave them a big boost in the win against Alabama on Friday. Here he is.
He was terrific in that second half, particularly. Had a couple of steals, 7 points.
McDermott right back with it. It is so hard to score over Henson, as he's discovering, but he fought through it and got a second chance.
Too deep to let Zeller catch it that deep. But fortunate he missed that jump hook, his favorite shot.
Here's Young, runner. Yes, Young, the point guard out of Bellevue, Nebraska. Bullseye for the second time in this game from 3. He was 2 out of 9 in the game on Friday against Vermont. Had hit only 3 of his last 18. But he's got a nice little tempo going here, hitting a couple of trays at the beginning.
Carolina wants to play inside out, but they will take the open jump shots when they're available.
Echenike showing some impressive moves here early in this game, and he's got 6.
Big fella using that wide body to carve out space down there. They have gotten away with a little hook.
Not this time. Gibbs able to snatch that rebound and get the outlet up to Young. Young surveying, gives it to the trailer Gibbs.
I like the aggressiveness of Young here to start the game. He was really passive yesterday, but understood. Talked to him just before the tip. He said he was going to step on the gas pedal a little more in this one.
Jump shot by Marshall. Zeller hit the floor as the shot was up, and this crowd didn't like it. There was no foul called. Zeller's just fine. Here's Young. And again smothered on the shot. Up ahead to Bullock. To the trailer. Marshall for another lay-in. Kendall Marshall has 8 points in the opening 11 minutes. Here's a guy who scored double figures only 4 times in the first 30 games. And now he's been in double figs 5 straight. And he's on his way to a 6th.
And in that stretch, 14 points a game, Jim, and he's also made 8 of 16 three-pointers. They're going to call a block on Tyler Zeller. Basket counts. And Echenike going to go to the foul line. Let's take a look. They're going to, I think the officials thought that Tyler Zeller flopped there. He's in pretty good position. But he leans in, and I think he didn't get the benefit of the doubt because it was a bit of an oversell.
Echenike fails to hit it. He went over 1,000 career points in the win on Friday. About 350 of those career points coming at Rutgers, transferring to Creighton. He's a junior there. And here's Marshall. Marshall, there's your double figures. Now 6 straight games. He's got 11 in this one. How do you figure 4 out of the first 30 and then 6 in a row? What a time to be hitting your stride.
Well, he got tired of people talking about him being the weak link offensively with this team. That's what happened. He knew his coaches wanted him to shoot more. His teammates needed him to shoot more. And he wanted to prove that I'm not going to be a weak link. I'm setting people up when I have the opportunity. But if you don't play me, I'm going to make you pay.
There's McDermott. Carolina gets it up the floor quickly.
They don't waste any time.
Marshall. Again! He's got 13 of Carolina's 32.
And he's talking to himself. He's locked in. He is locked in. Look at that. Perfect.
Hence it'll be coming right back into the rotation along with Stillman White. And there's Young, fed by Gibbs. Gibbs is like their quarterback out there. He's not their point guard. He really can't shift laterally with a couple of knee operations he's had, but he's quite an assist man. McAdoo just also getting better by the week.
He sure is, Jim. And that's wonderful, wonderful to see this young man's development. And boy, what promise does he have? Strong, athletic, nice touch.
There's Young. And it's right off his foot. Going to North Carolina. Carolina shooting 74%. Has hit its last 5 and has been led by Kendall Marshall.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by Capital One, Lowe's, and by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Fast-paced action here in Greensboro. And
Big
look
number
at
right
Carolina.
there.
And look at Marshall down at the bottom, 6 of 6 from the field, plus 4 assists. So he's had a hand in 10 of their 14 baskets.
We're going to show you here. Antoine Young going to get the ball to Gibbs. Back screen going to be set by McDermott. Young going to go around and get a nice alley-oop pass from Grant Gibbs. Well executed here. There you see the screen, back cut, beautiful pass. Nicely done, but the Blue Jays still down by 10. And usually Marshall, Jim, is the maestro, but he has decided to go solo here in the first 13 minutes. 6 of 6, and he also has 4 assists as well. So you figure 13 plus 8, he's accounted for 21 of the 34.
The solo act's looking pretty good. Here's Henson.
That's where they're so tough, Jim. They just gobble up buffet style on that glass. All kinds of second opportunities. They out-rebound opponents by 11 a game.
With Artino on the floor, and here's Gibbs down low on the blocks. Over Barnes, and against Henson. The top rebounder, top shot blocker, defensive player of the year. That's what that leads to in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Barnes. And that's Artino with the rebound.
Got a chance to run now if they push it. Good job by Carolina to get back.
And here is McDermott taking on the ACC's best defender.
Got to get it out of there. He's double teamed. Get that ball swung, and you got a shot on the other side.
Yeah, he's got Gibbs wide open underneath. And that's Henson locking it away.
McDermott has to be ready to get rid of that ball much quicker.
Barnes buries the 3. Timeout, Creighton.
It's been a solo act for the normal maestro for Carolina, Kendall Marshall. Not hesitating. I don't know if I've ever seen him more aggressive offensively than what he's shown here so far today, Jim. Got a size advantage on Antoine Young and really looking to attack the goal. There you see his numbers. And Carolina threatening to blow this thing open, and Creighton has to do a better job of getting that ball from side to side so they can get some high-quality looks on the weak side. If you try to attack a bigger front line from one side of the floor, you're asking for trouble.
Echenike, great job fighting for it. Spins, what a pivot. Failed to hit the little shot.
Got to make all of those against a team as tall and talented as Carolina.
Henson, good high step, pulled down McDermott. Snaps it out midcourt to Young. Young driving, and he draws the foul on Marshall.
Beautiful.
Basket counts. Avery Dingman on the floor now for Creighton, number 22. Coming up, AT&T at the half, scores and highlights, the latest tournament news, and the announcement of the finalist for the Naismith Award presented by AT&T. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. First foul on Marshall, and McDermott's going to get a little added breather here at 4:54 to go in the half.
You know, Young only took 5 shots in the game on Friday, Jim. He's already attempted 7 here and a missed free throw. Boy, when you're battling against the weapons and talent of North Carolina, you've got to make your layups and you've got to knock down your free throws.
Well, there is Young making the play with the steal. He had 5 assists in that game. Rodney.
Good effort by Echenike.
Hairston has the rebound. That was North Carolina's last time down the floor, the first turnover by the Tar Heels in 11 minutes after 4 early ones.
On the post up, Monaghan is Henson, but he's sitting down on his legs, doing a nice job. But they should swing that and try to repost it. There they go. That's the right play.
Henson doubled up. 2 on the shot clock. Got it away just in time, and the ball tapped out to Young. Carolina's back, though. Still going to challenge him. Knocked out by Zeller. I think they're calling for a foul. 6 points and 7 rebounds by Hinson. That was a foul on Zeller. We'll be right back. Well, it wasn't that long ago. Ames, Iowa. McDermott and Barnes, 53-0 in 2 state championships. And look at Harrison driving in here. And this is how they worked in concert. Barnes to McDermott. And here they are squaring off today. And for more, the Powerade Sideline Report, Tracy Wolfson.
Well, thanks, Jim. Not only did they play basketball together, but Doug was actually his driver in his Nissan Murano, taking Harrison everywhere, especially to the gym. And Doug told me yesterday that Harrison was such a hard worker. He was always practicing, always in the gym, always in the weight room. He said that work ethic really rubbed off on him. It is a big reason why he's become the player he is today, guys.
Well, they are both just outstanding, and we're coming off a second foul on Zeller, so he's out of the game for Carolina. And McDermott went to the bench at the 4:54 mark. He thought maybe he'd come out after the under 4. Getting a little extended break as they bring back out Austin Chapman.
Well, Creighton has got a high volume of shots. They've already taken 32 shots. They forced some, and they've missed some good ones, Jim. They got to make sure they reverse the ball, and then they can't allow easy looks at the basket like that for Carolina. Good execution by the Tar Heels.
And the Barnes now has 7. Rocky right here hit 3 threes in the game. There's Dingman, who can also shoot it from the outside.
Only 1 of 6 so far from the 3-point line for Creighton.
Yeah,
they average 8 makes a game.
This is a 2. Chapman. Janike fighting for it. But that's a 7th rebound for Hinson already.
Well, you can see the difference he makes. So long. And doesn't seem to be bothered by that sprained wrist at all, Jim. I don't see any ill effects. That time he got it hit, it seems like.
Yeah, he's grimacing. That one hurt.
Well, he's back and making his presence felt right away. Knocking down the jump shot. And right here got a technical as he was hit on the wrist by Gibbs, but his presence around the goal defensively. When he doesn't block your shot, he changes it, and he's headed to the bench, and obviously, as you said, Jim, in a lot of pain.
Well, he grimaced big time after that last foul, and then when he saw that he was going to be sub-4, he looked back and said, no, I'm all right. So a little part of that was the disappointment he was going to be taken out of the game again, but he is that. There's definite lingering effects here. Three minutes to go first half. McAdoo gets past Rocky for the easy shot. And Carolina has that 15-point lead.
Excellent slip that time by McAdoo. Acted like he was going to set the screen, recognized the defense wasn't there. We're going to count the basket and call the offensive foul on McDermott.
This was where Hinson heard it last time down the floor. Wow. A reach in by Chapman.
Right on top of it, too.
Yeah.
Man, that hurt me. My wrist isn't sprained. That's the risk you take. He had to give Coach Williams the okay, said, hey, I want to go. And when you're out there, you're vulnerable to having an injured part be hit and re-aggravated.
Creighton crashes the boards that time. Gibbs coming away with it. Rocky from the corner, and that's a second 3 for the Blue Jays in this game. They hit their first attempt from outside. And now that one. Barnes pulled.
It's a tough shot.
Here's Gibbs again.
That's a force, and it gives Creighton a chance to get in transition.
Rocky again. Oh, that was down for a moment.
This is how Creighton likes to play. They want to push it up and try to get high-quality looks at the 3-point line before the defense is set. And another quick shot by Carolina. I know Roy Williams wants to play fast, but when you've got a huge size advantage in the paint, quick one-pass threes in transition aren't your best option. Opportunity for Creighton to close this half strong, Jim, and be within contact with a couple of buckets.
We're down by 15. with 43-28. Scored the last 5. This is Jones. Tough shot, and that's a 2. So now 7 unanswered by the Jays.
See if Carolina goes inside now. Got McAdoo out there, Zeller on the bench with the 2 fouls, and Barnes doing it himself. And again, that's 3 straight misses by Harris and Barnes, and Creighton in position with a numbers advantage here. Somebody should be open.
It's Young wide open in the lane and missed it. Easy jumper. Tapped away by Young, and then caught by Coach McDermott.
Timeout, North Carolina. A 30-second timeout.
Carolina calls a timeout with 1 minute and 2 seconds to go. Little hot spurt here by the Blue Jays to get it to single digits. Tournament summary, Kentucky the only team left from Houston's Final Four last year. With VCU and UConn both eliminated, Butler didn't make the field this year. By the way, the Lehigh Mountain Hawks have just walked in and taken a little seat here behind the basket. You see them come after they play if you play in the first game. But now this is on the front end of it, so good for them.
And they got some love from the Carolina faithful
well,
here.
Of course, they got a lot the other night, too.
Sure did.
As they knocked off Duke in that stunning 15-over-2 affair. Here's Marshall, short with the shot. And coming out with it is Gibbs. He has a great presence for knowing where the ball is. To anticipate here, McDermott. McAdoo rejects it. Third block by McAdoo. Oh, that's a trip by Jones.
And that'll send Carolina to the line, the 7th team foul on Creighton. A couple of opportunities missed by Creighton. A good look in the lane 2 possessions ago for Young. And that time, McDermott trying to do too much on his own. The next part of his game in terms of developing for Doug McDermott is recognizing when he can make a pass out of the post that gets his team a better shot. Right now, he's pretty tunnel visioned when he catches it in there. He's going to try to score, which he should, but he also has to add the ability to recognize he's well defended and get it out to a teammate.
1-and-1 for Marshall. McAdoo keeps it alive for the Tar Heels.
Should take the last one here.
They could do it. But they're going to fire away with Bullock. That 3 rattles out. Let's see what Creighton does.
Poor decision there, Jim.
Carolina going a long time here without scoring.
Well,
They've been on 43 for quite a while.
The shot selection has been poor the last 5 trips. I mean, in that case, you should be taking the last shot if you're North Carolina instead of giving it to Creighton.
Absolutely. 5 seconds. Young. Tar Heels there to defend, and that'll run out the half.
Your halftime score of North Carolina 43.
North Carolina went the final 3 minutes and 3 seconds of the half without scoring. Creighton the last 7 points of the first half. It's a Tar Heel lead of 43-35, led by Marshall's 13 points and 6 assists. Let's go over to Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks a lot, Coach. We saw John Henson get hit on that wrist. Can you tell us how he's holding up?
Well, he got hit twice, and one of them was before the technical and one of them was on the play, so it's hurting him, but that didn't hurt us as much as just taking silly shots down there at the end. We can't just be a jump shooting team. That's just silly basketball.
How about Kendall Marshall? What can you say about his aggressiveness in that first half?
Well, he's got to stop turning the ball over. He's made more turnovers that half than he makes in most games this year. We got to play better.
Thanks a lot. Jim?
I think we got a little hint of what the message is going to be in that locker room. Tar Heels lead it by 8. We'll go to New York from the studio as we continue on the road to the Final Four.
AT&T at the Half is sponsored by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. Rethink possible.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. Welcome to AT&T at the Half, and in a game that Kenny Smith is watching like a hawk. North Carolina leading by 8 over Creighton. I am joined by Greg Anthony, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and our special guest, St. John's head coach Steve Lavin. The lead was 15 in this game, Coach, but now it is down to 8. Roy Williams saying silly basketball has led to that, but what was your take on the first half?
Well, you know, no surprise, Carolina overpowering inside with their size and, of course, the firepower. So we see a little fire here in emotion early, both from the players and Coach Williams. So they came to play today. They'll get lit up some by Roy Williams because he's a perfectionist. But what North Carolina hangs their hat on, 82 points per game, their fast break. You look over Roy Williams' career, that's what he does better than anybody. On misses, they're plus 11 on the boards. They get out in the break and score in transition. And on makes, they get organized with the long outlet, the 5-man right to the basket. The high flyers are running the wings and the 4-man trailing. And if their initial break isn't there, they flow seamlessly into their early offense. And that's, to me, what separates. There's so many things. Coach Williams recruits well. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a winner. He's a motivator. But he hangs his hat on playing at a faster pace than any other school in America.
What about your alma mater caught your eye, Jet?
Well, McAdoo, I think overall, if you looked at before Henson got hurt, he was kind of a kid that was being babysat. He got more responsibility. It was Coach Williams that said, you know what? We're not babysitting you anymore. You're home alone. And when you watch this tape, he does different things now that he's ever done before. I think overall, he's more active, more aggressive, and that's been the difference to me watching him play.
Well, I got to take my hat off to Creighton. I'm impressed with those guys. Everybody know about McDermott, but Ekaniki, did I pronounce it?
That's close enough.
That's close enough. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, when they got down 15, it looked like the game was going to get out of hand. For them to get it back down to 8, as Coach McDermott, you got to be saying, hey, you know what, guys, we weathered the storm, and they're back in this game.
You know what's interesting about Carolina? You look at all the elite teams right now. You say Carolina, Syracuse, Kentucky, Kansas, Michigan State. They're the worst defensive team of that entire group. Like, they try to beat you and overwhelm you with talent. And so that's something, long picture, I think could be an issue for them.
Also going on TNT right now, the Gators leading Norfolk State 17-6. And we'll be back with more from Greg Anthony and the rest right after this.
Is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA's consent is prohibited.
Back in Greensboro, where North Carolina led by as many as 15 in that first half, but failed to hit any of its last 6 shots to close out the half, and Creighton got within 8, but it's Marshall who gave them that big lead early, Clark.
Yeah, he sure did. He was outstanding other than turning the ball over a bit. McDermott working hard inside for his 11 points. Henson showing no ill effects from being out of action for a little over a week. Took a shot on the wrist there, but a presence with 6 points and 8 rebounds. We'll take a look at his shot chart. He stayed pretty much in the middle of the lane or on that left block, left side of the floor. 3 of 8 for him, and there you see Marshall. 6 of 7, but also heard Roy Williams talk about him needing to take care of the ball. He had 4 turnovers in that first half. And you look at the in-game box score here. Good job by Echanike and Young being more aggressive. Only 24 to 35 points in the paint for the Blue Jays. Can they get hot from the 3-point line? We'll see.
Second half coming up.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by UPS, State Farm, The Three Stooges, and by Bud Light.
(43-35). North Carolina leads it here. The winner to advance to St. Louis and the Sweet 16. How do you see the second half going here, Clark?
Well, I tell you, North Carolina really allowed Creighton to get back into this thing in the second half. Poor shot quality the last few minutes. Creighton only now within 8. 3-point shooting has been a problem for Creighton. If they can find a way to knock down threes, this could really tighten up, Jim.
All right, let's go over to Tracy.
Coach, 7-0 run to end that half. What was the difference there?
Well, defensively, we were a little bit better. We continue to rebound it, and we just got to continue to play inside out. Gregory Echanike has done a good job down there for us.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
There is Echanike. He did fight for his space, won a few battles in that first half. He had 8 points and 4 rebounds. Zeller set for quite a bit with his 2 fouls. He's on the floor now as we get the second 20-minute stanza underway. Zeller set down for 8 of the 20 in the first half. And Henson is on the floor, in case you're wondering. Maybe they just wait. See, they get into Friday, and that's going to be a foul call that'll send Henson to the line.
No, I disagree with that, Jim. If he's able to go, you've got to play him now. There's no guarantee that Friday shows up.
Right. McDermott second.
You got a better chance of getting to Friday if number 31's out there doing what he does.
You know what it reminds me of? We were here in 09 at this very arena. Carolina was a 1 seed. Ty Lawson was, of course, such a crucial part of that national championship team. He was battling a toe injury. They set him in the first game against Radford. And then he came out and played a good portion of the game against LSU. And he got, of course, physically better and stronger as the tournament went on, and they won the championship in Detroit.
And won it in rather convincing fashion. That was a terrific team. And Lawson was the guy who made him go from the point guard spot.
And McDermott rejected, and that was Henson. Barnes. Gibbs underneath. Flips it out to Young. Right side, Manigat. Called for it. Shot to the wing. No, long on the 3. And Echenike swipes the glass. Kicks it out.
Echenike really doing a nice job. You heard Greg McDermott talk about his effort in the first half, and Antoine Young commits a careless foul.
I tell you, Henson, he plays so long. Watch this. This is with the left hand.
Yeah. Well, he goes right on the right hand of the shooter, and McDermott, I mentioned it in the first half. I love his aggressiveness, but you need not just aggressiveness, but discretion at times. Understanding who you're being defended by. Kick it out, and then go at him on the second try.
Carolina's first field goal in a 4-minute and 24-second stretch. Going back to the first half.
I think North Carolina really trying to push the pedal to the metal here in the first few minutes of this half, Jim. See if they can crack the will and spirit of the Blue Jays here.
Echenike steps into the paint. Left hand, banks it home.
Well, he's been fantastic down there. Carving out space, using that wide body to keep the shot blockers away.
Now defending on Zeller. He's short with the shot, but Henson's there. Kicks it outside. Bullock again. Hits another one. This one a 3. Bullock giving them a boost today. Three threes and 11 points. And Barnes crashes into Gibbs. Brackets busted, perhaps? Well, you can start a new one with round by round. For every correct pick, Infinity will make a donation to fight cancer. Up to $700,000. Sign up at cbssports.com/infinity.
I like that option, round by round. I'm not doing a bracket, but if I were, that would be a nice way to make it happen.
I think a lot of brackets were busted on Friday. They're going to review
to see if, in fact, he was fouled behind the three-point line, I think.
Gibbs did a good job by actually just launching a shot to try to get him to the line.
Knew that Harrison Barnes was late and retreating off balance. Showed the ball. Looks like he's behind the line to me from there. Mike Stewart, you can see the official right there giving the indication that he was in the act of shooting. Another look at it. Behind the line there, clearly. Now, does he lean in to draw the foul? Yes, he did. He got that right toe on the line, I think. So this may be just 2 free throws. He was behind the line until he was trying to initiate the contact. And then that right foot, you can see it right there, folks.
Yep, our guys Bob Fishman and Bob Dekas giving you the shot.
There it is right there.
The zoom in shot that was first brought to sports broadcasting out of their truck in the 2005 regional final down in Austin between Michigan State and Kentucky. Remember the Patrick Sparks shot that had to be reviewed just like that.
Multiple times, and they got it right. Clearly a two-shot opportunity here for Gibbs.
So Gibbs, the Gonzaga transfer. Here's a guy that had to sit out last year as a transfer. Practiced with the team and everything around the team enough to where they voted him team captain before he even played a game in a Creighton uniform.
That's impressive. It speaks volumes about his character and leadership.
Wow, what a game he's having. 13 now. Sophomore from Kinston, North Carolina. Got 7 already in this half. 7 of Carolina's 9.
Gibbs just unable to move laterally to keep Bullock from that drive, and there's a good look for McDermott. And anytime you shoot the 3 the way the Blue Jays do, no lead is insurmountable.
Triple team on Henson, and coming away with it is McDermott. He wants it back. Ooh, and then took his eye off it. Henson was there to defend, and he got away from him. Marshall, outside jumper, Henson.
He has really improved that part of his game, Jim.
Well, that was the shot right there he attempted at the very end of the game against Kentucky back on December 3rd. It got blocked by Anthony Davis. Had he made it, of course, there was a couple of seconds to go. Carolina might have won that game at Rupp, and who knows, maybe we'll see another matchup between those two on April the 2nd.
Perhaps.
McDermott this time. Echenique trying to save it for the Blue Jays.
Boy, number 00 really battling inside against a pair of bigger Tar Heels. Good job to wall off.
Barnes, no.
Barnes got fouled on the second one. I thought the first one, Echenique did a good job of going straight up and staying vertical.
Gibbs sees Zeller there, swings it back outside. McDermott on the floor. Just looked like he slipped.
He did.
Down low, Henson. And one.
Big time move by Henson, and he did it with the left hand, Jim.
And look at the energy he brings this team.
Greg Gumbel in New York with an All-State March Mayhem update. Over on TNT in Omaha, it is all Florida. They had a 25-0 run in the first half. They're leading Norfolk State 37-15. 4.5 to play in the first half. Jim and Clark.
All right, thank you, Greg. That's the last piece of the on the West bracket. 3 of the 4 seeds held up, with Michigan State, Louisville, and Marquette already slated to go to Phoenix for Thursday, Saturday action. Henson at the line. And that's a 3-point play for John Henson, who's going to be replaced now by James Michael McAdoo.
Well, I tell you what, Henson has really injected a lot of energy into this North Carolina team, and you think about the progress that James Michael McAdoo is making, it really fortifies what I think is the best front line in college basketball.
McDermott got pinned. Somehow got it back outside. They work it around the perimeter.
Creighton needs to be able to knock down some threes here. They've got to find a way. They've done a good job attacking inside, but in order to close this gap, they're going to have to spray some triples.
That's McDermott trying to get past Zeller, and it's going to go against McDermott. He was met by Hairston, who stood his ground and drew the charge. 3 now on McDermott.
And the Naismith Award finalist having a tough go of it, trying to beat not just his guy. Excellent help by, was that Bullock?
Hairston.
Harrison, P.J. Harrison, I'm sorry, doing a nice job rotating over to take that charge, and McDermott going to have to sit now with his 3rd personal foul.
It's a tough one there, down 15. And your All-America to the bench. With 15 and change to go. Zeller. 5th most assists ever in college basketball history in one season, going to the line. His numbers were staggering. Young will be called for that. It'll be 2 at the line. I want to remind you, you can watch every 2012 March Madness game live on your computer, iPad, iPhone, or select Android phones with NCAA March Madness Live. Visit ncaa.com/March Madness for more information. You're talking 340 and counting assists in one season. Most in one single season in ACC history. 5th most in any season ever by a player, college basketball history. And guess what? He did not make first team All ACC.
Can sometimes happen that way, Jim. Doesn't take away from what he's done. He's been absolutely fantastic. A Cousy Award finalist is Kendall Marshall. And he has been terrific all year long and has really elevated his offensive production in addition to setting up other people, scoring really well himself the last 5 or 6 ball games.
Of course, they got 3 first-teamers in Hinson, Barnes, and Zeller. That ball tipped and coming over our way. 15 on the shot clock. Barnes is going to return for Bullock. Carolina led it by 8 at halftime and has outscored Creighton 16-7 here in the second half.
Bullock with 7 of those 16, Jim. Knocked down a 3 and got a couple of 2-point field goals.
Jones steps up. It's past Harrison. Long with the jumper. On the floor. Zeller's there to grab it. Marshall. He sees it all. Finds Barnes over on the wing.
Carolina's so good at being able to get the perimeter shot to go. That's right in Marshall's wheelhouse, that 15 to 17 footer. But because they're looking to probe inside, it keeps constant pressure on the opposing team's defense.
Last 9 points to North Carolina. Rocky. That's a 3. And that net. That shot so pure, they had to bring the net back down, hanging on the rim. North Carolina led by Hinson, McAdoo. Each have 3 blocks in this game.
Well, they're so big, and the timing is excellent. You almost have to try to go in there if you're not clean for a shot. Just get that ball moving and try to beat them from the perimeter. Hasn't been the case so far for Creighton.
Hairston. That's what the Carolina faithful want to see. It has been a big struggle the second half of the year with the freshman who was supposed to be a sharpshooter for him and was early in the year. Jones. That's a 2-point basket.
Basket by Josh Jones.
Arizona. Pass out to Chapman. Lob, Echenique. Oh, just never able to get his hands cleanly on it.
And even if he could, Jim, I thought that pass was awry. It was underneath the goal instead of over top of it and outside. Let's see. So, yeah, that ball was clearly not going to be able to be punched or flushed, even if Echenique had caught it.
Also entering the contest for the Blue Jays, Avery Dingman.
Echenique to the bench. Avery Dingman in, and there's Zeller sitting out now as Hinson comes back on the floor.
McDermott out there as well, playing with the 3 fouls.
It's Jones. Barnes getting past him. Harrison Barnes. He's got 9 for the game. Had his career best point total in one game here in an ACC tournament game. There's Chapman. And outside, the long rebound to Marshall. Looking around. Beating Barnes again. Barnes. Left-hand shot doesn't go. And Rocky was trying to set up for a 3. He knew Hinson was closing in on him. And he lost it out of bounds.
Well, Carolina starting to overwhelm the Creighton Bluejays with its size, and the Tar Heels, one of the best fast break teams in the country, right up there with Syracuse and Kentucky. Here's Harrison again.
On the floor, it's Rocky. Creighton, the team coming in, having won 8 straight.
There you go. Well done.
Rocky.
That's what McDermott has to do more of. Don't challenge the shot blockers. Face them, see what you've got, and see if you can find open threes for your teammates.
Harrison Barnes. And again, a long rebound of Marshall. Baseline, he feeds Henson. And Dingman down low for Creighton. Freshman from Branson, Missouri, for 22. Rocky again. Tap McDermott on the floor.
Boy, Rocky not paying attention to the ball.
Now he had his back turned. Marshall noticed that. And he'll go back to the line for 2. Second foul on Rocky. Carolina. Comfortable lead of 16, second half. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching NCAA men's basketball action. Creighton in North Carolina. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following the game, except on the West Coast where it'll be seen at its regularly scheduled time. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, Tracy Wolfson here in Greensboro.
Want to show you a really good play by John Henson and an impossible play to defend. Look at all of these Blue Jays in here. He's got the ball, and he's going to get it out right here to a wide open shooter. One of the best times to shoot the three-point shot is off an offensive rebound because the defense is in the paint, and presence of mind by Henson, and an easy look for Bullock.
Two at the line for Kendall Marshall, second in the nation. Assists average this year 9.7. We saw the only man with a better average of assists per game on Tuesday night at Dayton, Scott Machado of Iona. And the Gales, well, they looked so strong for a half against BYU before the Cougars, led by Dave Rose, pulled off the biggest comeback in NCAA tournament history from 25 down to win.
Noah Hartsock carried them offensively in that second half, but it was quite fascinating to see that kind of turnaround. And Creighton have a similar turnaround, down 17. The only way it happens is if they're able to knock down some perimeter shots, because there will not be much gotten inside against Henson, McAdoo, Zeller when he's on the floor.
This is block number 4 by John Henson.
Good job by Echenike to get his body into him, but Henson breaks contact, and then with those Inspector Gadget type arms, denies the shot attempt.
And with the bad wrist, left hand blocking it. Harrison rattles out as Henson touched it last. Get coverage of the Division I women's basketball tournament at ncaa.com/Final Four.
Jim, I thought coming into this game, Creighton was going to have to make double digits from behind the three-point line. They average 8 makes a game. They were going to have to knock down 10 to have a chance, because it's just so hard to get shots around the goal against North Carolina.
5 out of 14, Clark. Here's that Echenike. Going to check. He had to come back on Henson and say, wait a minute, not this time.
Backed him down and posterized him. He got those bright pink tennis shoes off the ground there. Wow.
Henson. No, tapped out to Hairston. And he's hammered from behind by Gibbs. Even Inspector Gadget couldn't stop this one.
No, he backed him down and punched it. That's grown man basketball there, folks. Got his body into him, and I think he surprised Henson. Actually surprised me.
I know he did.
Wow. 0. That's a 10 on the Richter scale.
Hairston will get one more. And last foul on Gibbs was just his first. And Zeller's back on the floor. Point margin here for the Tar Heels. 9.5 to play.
Tar Heels will be shooting free throws in the bonus. With 9 minutes to go. They average 24 free throw attempts a game and have a huge advantage on the opposition in free throws made and attempted on the year.
Oh, that's going to be just the second turnover in the last 70 minutes for Stillman White. 70 minutes of action. Yeah, it goes back now some 6 or 7 weeks. The freshman from Wilmington, North Carolina, who's been a nice surprise for them this year, and actually will not be on the team the next 2 years. He's going to serve a Mormon mission. And he'll come back as a sophomore in the 2014-15 season.
I'll tell you what, you think about how typically those young men that do the Mormon mission, how they come back mature and develop after some time. Obviously, the mission will take a little bit of the basketball and physical conditioning away, but there'll be a maturity level and a seasoning that will serve him well between the lines, I'm sure.
Third foul on Zeller. Manigat will go to the line. Sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario.
Shooting 2.
His Creighton team, that win against Alabama. First one for the Blue Jays program in 10 years and 1 day. They had won a game in the 0-2 tournament, a double overtime win against Florida, which playing right now. That was a Florida team just a couple of seasons removed from the championship game. It had the likes of Udonis Haslem, David Lee on that team, Matt Bonner, Brett Nelson, Justin Hamilton. It was a good team. Creighton beat them.
Sure was.
Didn't win another tournament game until Friday here in Greensboro. And again, they were trying to get for the first time ever consecutive wins, and Zeller will go to the line with a three-point opportunity.
Well, I like that move by Tyler Zeller. Usually on that side of the floor, he wants to go to his left shoulder for the jump hook. Decides to go to the middle this time. Comes back to his right hand and makes the basket through contact from Echenique. But that's good action by Tyler Zeller, the ACC Player of the Year.
And even better, the Academic All-America of the year. He is one of the finalists, too, for the Lowe's Senior Class Award, which will be announced at the Final Four in New Orleans.
We've got quite a few award candidates on this floor. Kendall Marshall, a Cousy Award finalist. Doug McDermott, a Naismith Award finalist.
Nice smooth move there by Antoine Young.
Creighton still hanging around here, Jim. Comfortable margin for North Carolina, but they've got to continue to be sharp, and that's as sharp as you can get right there.
Hinson to Zeller. Wonderful assist as the two meet back at the other end of the floor.
Boy, Carolina has so many ways to hurt you, Jim. With that size up front, the unselfishness. Kendall Marshall running things at the point.
Going to be a reach in on Bullock. His first. Tyler Zeller. Last year he averaged 26 a game in the NCAA tournament. He's having another fine start to the 2012 tournament. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a report on a medical mystery called face blindness. Plus all new episodes of The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and CSI Miami tonight on America's most watched network. All right, little summary here, Clark Kellogg.
Very impressive by the Tar Heels. Came out to start this second half and got on an immediate run, 52% shooting. They've knocked down 6 3-pointers, which is more than they average and makes on the season. Turnovers have been cut way down, and they are starting to wear down this Creighton Blue Jays team. There's so much firepower, size, speed. They've got all the ingredients, Jim. And the return of Hinson to the lineup with the improving play of James Michael McAdoo. You're going to have a tough time outdoing this front line.
Yeah, there are a lot of parts to this team. The team that made it all the way to a regional final last year and lost to Kentucky. We were there to see it, Clark, up in Newark, New Jersey. They've been waiting for March to come around. Some people thought they were in the regular season, maybe a little bit bored waiting to get to March. And then, of course, they had that game late in the regular season. Extra blocked by Echenike. Under 10 on the shot clock. Yeah, they blew out Duke in that first half at Cameron, and that's going to be a foul outside, which is 3 on the shot clock. It'll be a 1-and-1 at the line. This year, enjoy more madness with Coke Zero. Text CAMP to 26553, 2653 for a chance to attend an ultimate basketball camp with 3 of your friends. Third foul on Manigat, 1-and-1 for Marshall. Seven minutes to go. If Creighton's going to make a run, it's got to begin right now.
And it has to happen with three-point shooting, I think. Henson matched up with McDermott. Good turn in face.
McDermott.
There you go. Buffaloed his way inside.
Does a good job with that body, doesn't he?
Yep.
Because he's given up size.
Yeah, he knocked Henson off balance just enough to keep him from being able to block that shot.
McDermott has 16.
McDermott came out of that exchange grimacing, not sure what he hurt, but he aggravated something.
Barnes short. McDermott, his old high school teammate there with the rebound.
Somehow, if you're Creighton, you'd like to get it down to 10. Pass.
Look out.
Love the way that young man extends defensively and gets into the passing lane. Not many 6'8", 6'9" power forwards can do that, Jim. There he is again, pressuring McDermott. Way out on the floor.
McDermott again able to get past, and Echenike did a good job of shielding Henson from being able to make a swipe at that and pick up a 5th block. Back to McAdoo. Jump shot, no. On the floor, Echenike. Here is Young. The only player who won't be returning next year for the Blue Jays. He's a senior. 3-point shot, yes, that is Manigat. And it's down to 12 with 5:15 to play.
Excellent three-point shooter is Manigat. 49% he shot in conference games, so a little hope, a little life. And as always with the three-point shot, you can melt away leads, but you got to get stops as well.
Barnes. Oh, that's big. That momentum, there was a little mini run brewing by Creighton. And then Harrison Barnes just loaded up as calmly as he could be.
Set out for the stop sign on that run.
McDermott wants it back though, and it is all Carolina underneath with Bullock. Carolina led by 8 at halftime, and the lead swelled to 19 at one time.
He's basically been in that area. Here's Barnes again.
I said he had his biggest scoring performance of his 2-year career at Carolina. In this building, he had 40 against Clemson a year ago. And he just hit back-to-back threes to make it 18. The Sweet 16 begins Thursday with the Infinity NCAA tip-off on TBS at 6 p.m., followed by doubleheaders on both CBS and TBS. Coach McDermott in his second year had been the coach at Northern Iowa, where he played and where he met his wife, Teresa. And there is Teresa, who 6 years ago was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's a breast cancer survivor. Talking to Coach McDermott about how sweet this season has been. As you see Echenike, by the way, playing with the pink sneakers as a tribute to Teresa McDermott. Coach McDermott saying You know, the wins I've found weren't as sweet, and the losses weren't as hard. Just completely changed perspective for him.
Understandable that would be the case, Jim.
Absolutely. Some big things for this program, and they're going to be really good next year. As Barnes losing the handle, and out with it is Young. Again, this is the lone senior coming up with the ball.
Well, the taste of a tournament win, the first for Greg McDermott and for Creighton since back in the early 2000s. So an opportunity to be fueled by this experience in the offseason as Josh Jones buries a triple.
Hometown kid for the Creighton program out of Omaha.
It'll be fun to watch this Creighton team, see how these young men develop, and Harrison Barnes. And look at McAdoo work that glass, and Barnes cleans it up. That's where they're so good. So many guys that can get to that offensive glass.
Barnes has 17, 10 of them coming here in the second half.
Those two big threes basically stiff-armed any run that Creighton was going to make. Maybe not.
Now Jones with back-to-back buckets. This one a 3. Again, 60 minutes coming up next, except for those of you on the West Coast, you'll see it at your normal time. And Zeller flipping it. He loves that shot.
It's great to have a go-to move when you're 7 feet tall and as agile as him, and an excellent free thrower as well. So
Jones has made hoops the last 2 trips. Not this time. Already able to jar it out of the hands of McAdoo. Back down low, McDermott. Zeller with the rejection. Raji back over to McDermott. 3 Tar Heels on him, and he'll go to the line. Well then, Carolina fans on the way to St. Louis, it appears. Next stop. Little look at the brackets. First in the East, Syracuse, Wisconsin set for Thursday, and Ohio State against either Cincinnati or Florida State. How about Kentucky and Indiana? They had that incredible matchup at Indiana. Hoosiers winning at the wire in the regular season. Out west, Michigan State, Louisville. Marquette's going to be against Florida. Florida winning in a runaway there. And North Carolina going to advance them now to St. Louis. NC State's going to be there. Going to be a little ACC flavor there in the Dome in St. Louis. McDermott at the line to shoot a couple. He's got 18 on the game. The Missouri Valley Player of the Year as just a sophomore, the first ever sophomore out of that conference to win the most outstanding player award. Talking about some of the biggest names too in basketball history who came through there.
Exactly.
Names like Bird and Oscar
Big
Robertson.
Yep. Big O. Played in a couple of Final Fours at Cincinnati before the Bearcats went on to win back-to-back titles in 61 and 62.
Could be a little Ohio State Cincinnati Sweet 16 matchup. Who knows? They got to play Florida State tonight.
That's right. Leonard Hamilton's team has had a fantastic year and will be a formidable opponent for the Bearcats, the number 3 seed in that region.
This could be a little rematch of some championship games from 50 years back. As Jones picks up his second, and Bullock will go to the line. We're in a double bonus now.
Really impressive here by North Carolina, Jim. 5 guys in double figures, and James Michael McAdoo has 9.
Checking back in, Doug McDermott, along with 0, Gregory Etchenique.
Well, we are looking through those brackets. Ohio and South Florida playing right now.
Tied up, it looks like, according to on TBS. We're even at 12.
The young Nick Kellogg.
Yes, sir.
Been starring for the Bobcats. The winner of that game will be playing North Carolina and Friday night in St. Louis.
Be nice to see the Bobcats have that opportunity. Long way to go in that one, though.
Is Jones.
going to probably try to foul, and this most likely will be the last intentional foul, I think. Down 14, 74 seconds to go. Creighton just didn't have enough going from the perimeter today, Jim, to have a chance to beat North Carolina. Clearly superior along the front line. And once the Tar Heels got it going to start this second half, and White knocks down the free throw. It was all she wrote for the Blue Jays. Game effort, but not nearly enough shot making and execution.
So now they empty the bench on the Creighton side. Dorwart comes in. Stormberg as well. Dingman returns. Comes in.
Beautiful look here at the emotion between player and coach. Gregory Echenike.
You know, watching the studio for the last 4 days and watching the sound bites, I've never seen more outpouring of emotion in these post-game press conferences than I have this. I mean,
I agree. It's been real. It's been poignant. It's been something to behold. It shows you the kind of relationships these players have with each other, with their coaches, and with the game. Special.
McAdoo is short. Hubert is there, has the ball swiped away by Dingman, who had scored at the other end. Avery Dingman, freshman.
Impressive. Carolina only had a couple of turnovers in this second half, Jim. I mean, I've got them for a total of 9 now.
Carolina's going to call a timeout to get these young kids onto the floor, give them a chance to get in the books. Simmons comes out onto the floor. Crouch as well. Hubert, Hairston, and White. Roy Williams says, we take care of our own. And that's what Bruce Springsteen will be singing tomorrow in this very same building, as the boss will be the next one to perform here.
We'll have to go a long way to match this Carolina performance.
Yeah, they set a pace here for tomorrow night. Carolina trailed by a total of 2 points for this weekend. They're advancing to St. Louis for Clark Kellogg and Tracy Wolfson and all the crew. Jim Nance saying so long from Greensboro. We'll see you later on the road to the Final Four.